Fortunate students spend about a quarter of their lives in school, studying hard, hoping for a better future. Spending so much time in school, students learn plenty about math and science, but not about the school itself. Well, prepare yourself, Grasshopper, for a few lessons on school. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are the 25 common things about school you didn't know. A single pencil can draw a really long line. In school, pencils are everywhere and used every day by students all over the world. Little do they know that there's enough graphite in one pencil to draw a single line for 35 miles. Good luck to the student who actually tests that out.
24.
In the United States, teachers are resigning at increasing rates. Even if kids might love the idea, it's hard to have a school without teachers. Unfortunately for the United States, statistics show that 14% of teachers resign in their first year, 33% in 3 years, and a whopping 46% after only 5 years.
23.
Yellow school buses pull their weight. With all the schools around the US, it makes sense there would be plenty of school buses driving around each day. Well, roughly 480,000 of them can carry 25 million kids every day. And the nationwide safety records show kids are much safer in school buses rather than teenagers driving on their own or riding a bicycle.
22.
Public school enrollment continues to rise. Despite alternative school options like homeschool and private schools, public school enrollment continues to rise. In 2014, 50 million students were enrolled. That's actually projected to increase by 3% in 2025.
21.
United States schools dip in math rankings. While the US might spend a decent amount of money on education, it's not necessarily showing results, especially in math. In 2015, the US dropped by 15 points against other nations, falling from 28th to 35th.
20.
The world's largest school is in India. With over 40,000 students, 2,500 teachers, 3,000 computers, and 1,000 classrooms, City Montessori School in India received the Guinness World Record for largest school in the world.
19.
Reading proficiency predicts dropout rates in school. It's important now more than ever to encourage young children to read. Studies show that children with low reading ability by the 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of school, end up in jail, or go on welfare.
18.
In most countries, public school isn't free. While the United States and most of the Western world provides a free public school education for their citizens, many developing countries don't. Children are either not educated in these countries, or it falls on their parents' shoulders, paying the teacher's salary and purchasing the books and supplies.
17.
The unique crayon smell comes from beef fat. Who doesn't love just opening up a new box of crayons and taking in that new crayon smell? Well, as it turns out, that unique aroma comes from beef fat to help keep the wax consistent.
16.
School year schedules are different all over the world. In the US, a school year usually runs from September to the end of May, with summer vacation in June through August. However, schools all over the world go by wildly different schedules. Australia's school year is 200 days, running from the end of January to December. France, on the other hand, has the shortest school year, but the longest school days.
15.
Schools holding children back is ineffective and expensive. According to several studies, schools holding kids back are doing more harm than good, creating higher costs for the school and making it more difficult for the child to succeed academically.
14.
Staying in school produces big rewards. According to the US Census, in 2012, high school graduates that work full-time year-round receive, on average, earnings of $41,000 a year. Average earnings only go up the longer a student stays in school.
13.
Why students gave teachers apples. Today, it might seem odd to give a teacher an apple, but in the 19th century, it was common practice. Traditional thinking connected the tree of knowledge from the Bible as being an apple tree. Since teachers are known to be knowledgeable in many subjects, students would give them apples. Students' families would also give their teachers food as a way to support them, as schools back then weren't funded by the government.
12.
The Great Depression helped boost high schools. When the Great Depression hit, families had to do everything to get by, pushing more teenagers out of school and into the workforce. However, it only made the job pool more crowded. In an attempt to give more jobs back to adults and keep kids in school, President Roosevelt started a program to get teens back in school by paying them for doing work around campus. In effect, it helped create demand for high schools and gave teens a paycheck and an education that they wouldn't have otherwise had.
11.
Total money spent on back-to-school shopping. Every August, back-to-school shopping hits parents' wallets like a hammer. In 2015, parents spent a total of $68 billion on school supplies, and costs and spending don't show any signs of slowing down. In 2016, total spending on supplies hit $75 billion.
10.
Students rely on school for internet access. The internet has become the must-have source for research and information today. Yet, many low-income students don't have access to the internet at home. Studies show 97% of low-income students rely on their school to provide them with internet access. Unfortunately, 40 million students still don't have internet access at school.
9.
Not all schools are created equal. Schools around the world have different standards for their students. Japanese high schools have higher standards and requirements than American. For instance, a graduating Japanese high school senior has the equivalent education as an American second-year student in college.
8.
The fear of school. There's a phobia for everything. That includes students having a legitimate fear of school. It's called didascalanophobia and can affect kids of all ages. Reasons vary by age and situation, but some include separation anxiety, peer pressure, and struggling with subjects in school.
7.
Poor school attendance. Whether they're faking an illness or on vacation, most kids love to get out of attending school. However, poor attendance can predict future academic performance. Roughly 7.5 million students in the US missed almost a month of school each year. Consistent poor attendance by 6th grade can lead to a student dropping out of school entirely.
6.
Kids change schools often. Kids frequently change schools in America. Studies show 26% of elementary-age kids change schools at least once, and 42% of kids aged 12 and older do as well. However, many studies have also shown that children frequently changing schools can be detrimental to their mental health and academics.
5.
The blue part of an eraser. Most people scratch their heads on what the blue end of an eraser is meant to do, and no, it's not to erase pen marks. The blue end of an eraser is meant for pencil marks on coarse or rough paper. Mystery solved.
4.
Most teachers buy school supplies for their students. Even with low pay, teachers can be pretty generous to their students. It's estimated that 92% of school teachers spend their own money on school supplies for their students.
3.
In California, almost half of the students speak a language other than English. Learning becomes more difficult when schools don't speak a student's native language. In California, 45% of students speak a language other than English at home.
2.
Chinese schools love homework. Kids in the US might complain about how much homework they get, but it's nothing compared to Chinese students. Studies show Chinese students spend 3 hours a day on homework.
1.
Chinese schools have tobacco sponsors. While the US has spent a considerable amount of effort to get kids off drugs with programs like DARE, schools in China get major funding from tobacco companies and even encourage kids to smoke, saying it'll help their academic performance. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.